Hi there, still in the basic shorts with elastic waistband. Since I started talking about design variations and building upon a basic pattern block, basically sewing block, I thought I should include a video on how to do the obvious and use those short pattern to make trousers, because actually it's not that obvious, and I know it because I did just that. I did just cut that pattern with a longer leg, and then I had to make some adjustments, which is fine. That's also a really valuable experience because doing fitting sessions is a major part of working as a fashion designer. And if you're creating a portfolio, those fitting pictures are really important to show as part of your design developments and also as evidence of technical skills. And if you're making clothes for yourself, I find that these fitting sessions are a great chance to see what works for you, as in like what makes you feel good in your own skin versus what makes you feel kind of self-conscious. So let's begin. So this was my first attempt at using the shorts pattern as a basic block, and those pictures were actually after I had pinned all the excess fabric around the crotch area. But basically what happened is that these trousers were giving too much like adult diaper vibes. Before it was too much volume around like my fupa and around my dumper, for my own particular taste at least. Now, you can always decide to make yourself some puffy pants, and I suggest you look up bloomers as a reference, for example. Having said that, considering I was aiming for like normal trousers that could function as basic blocks in the future, there are some issues I want to correct. So one, I made my shorts pattern with a lot of volume all over, and because of the length, it works. And two, the fabric that I use for the blue trousers is a lot thicker, so all the gathering going from the waist to my crotch just got really bulky, and this fabric has a bit of stretch, so I didn't have to worry about it being too fitted and ripping the first time I wore it. Yeah, that was a very real concern when I was making shorts from old bed sheets. So here are the adjustments that I had to make. So I took most of the crotch excess on the front because traditionally you'd make the back crotch bigger. It's not always like this. I think for knitwear and activewear you'd use the same width. And that certainly was the case of the joggers that I used to make the shorts pattern. And I also lowered the bottom of the crotch. And this, maybe it's me, but this one always felt kind of counterintuitive to me because it kind of looks like I'm making the crotch lower and therefore longer. But what I'm doing here is removing excess fabric. This is the most convenient way to do it. Then I corrected the inseam by adding more of a curve going inwards, and that will solve that little excess between my thighs. Then on the waist I removed 2.5 centimeters and also lowered the waistline just a little bit. Almost the same process for the back with the measurements on the picture. And this would be enough for pajama pants, although I recommend making the hem wider, like just make a straight line below the knee. And I like to, then you add the seam allowance for the hem. I like to add like at least a 5 centimeters, and you can go even wider than that and add piping, make it in a different color, or do like a folded hem. As well as there are tons of ways to zhuzh up a basic piece and make it look more designed. Originally, I wanted to make a version of the pink and yellow pajamas on the first episode of Cardcaptor Sakura. But I had this pink striped fabric, but I didn't have any yellow, and I just didn't want to go out and buy more fabric. And now to make more of a workwear style with a heavier fabric and a tapered hem, like the blue trousers at the beginning, you can take a bit more from the front and back seams, but I recommend you start with the pajama pants because it's always easier to remove excess fabric after you made something too big. And then once you see what sort of volume works on top, you can decide how much to taper on the hem. You can see like how these proportions are working. I hope that was helpful. Hope it was easy to visualize. But I do understand that pattern cutting can be kind of an information overload until you get used to it. And if you want to get started with designing and cutting and making your own clothes, check out my mentorship sessions before you spend a lot of money on books and fabrics and supplies that will end up in that IKEA drawer under your bed, or before you enroll in a fashion course that will barely teach you how to make an apron. They're out there. And see you next time. Bye.